Welcome to yoga. My name is Anna, if y'all don't know me. Announcement wise, quick thing is that I will not be here next Monday. Y'all are going to have our instructor Maggie. So still classes on, and she'll still be here, and she'll have the setup for Zoom. Just wanted to give y'all a heads up on that. Other than that, I think we're good to go. We have a 45-minute practice together today. I'm super excited. I haven't done yoga trainings in a long time. I have 300 hours, but I did a yoga training yesterday, pranayama. So we're gonna do some new stuff today, hopefully. Always fun. Y'all know when I come back from a training to implement, y'all are my little guinea pigs. I can test things out with you. But other than that, let's go ahead and get comfortable on our mats. If you want to have a block or space around you, make sure you have space around you. But if you want anything else, if you need pillows or if you're at home or anything like that, if you don't have a block, you can use a pillow or a book or a water bottle, but you can lay down or you can just find a comfortable seated position. And we're going to go ahead and get started with our meditation. And then we will move into our core warm up and more of our physical asanas, our poses. But just getting comfortable on your mat, that is all you need to do right now. Maybe closing your eyes if that feels good for you, or finding a space to focus on. Whether that's the floor in front of you or the ceiling. Sometimes when we close our eyes, though, we can shift our focus inward. No worries, Jessica. I saw your chat message. From here, just start to become aware of your breath. Maybe noticing where you're feeling the breath today. So when I talk about pranayama, I just mentioned, that is our breath. It actually means life force or to fill up. So thinking about maybe how that relates to you and your yoga journey, your breath today. As we start to get used to noticing our breath, I want you to think about inhaling and exhaling through your nose today for our first breathing technique. If you are like me and you're starting to feel the allergy season and sinuses, you're welcome to breathe through your mouth as well. If that feels more accommodating. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. And then as you start to become more aware of the breath, I want you to think about your 3-part breath. So as we inhale deep from the belly up into the rib cage and then all the way up into the chest. Exhaling from the chest back down to the ribs and down to the belly. Seeing if you can segment those parts. Filling your belly, your diaphragm as big as you can, all the way up into the lungs, the ribs, the chest. Exhale, releasing that breath down. This is also called our diaphragmatic breathing. And we want to think about slowing it down. So maybe adding a count to that. Maybe it's an inhale for 3, exhale for 3, or inhale for 4, exhale for 4. That's our samavriti breathing, which is just our equal ratio breathing. And we can help bring that sense of relaxation and calm into our bodies, into our minds, down regulating our central nervous system. As you exhale, letting go of any expectations, letting go of any judgment of ourselves and others, and letting go of any competition. Focusing on this present moment today, on this breath, listening to our bodies at all times, always checking in with each of our poses, noticing, observing, remembering that we are in control and we have a choice in every pose that we make today. We can choose what feels best for us today in this moment on our mats. Remembering that the poses, while that might be what we're here for, that is only one aspect of our yoga practice. It's only one limb of our yoga practice. The pranayama, the breath, is another one. And then all of the different elements of social norms, personal beliefs, values, things like that. Also other aspects of our yoga practice. When we're ready, we can take our hands down by our sides, whether we're seated or on our backs. And just starting to add some movement to our breath here. Let's inhale, reach the arms up and overhead, either out to the side or straight up overhead. Exhale, release the hands down by the sides. Really thinking about our breath today as our guide for our movements. There's no pace, there's no rush, just breathing and moving with your own personal breath, using that as your guide. Taking 2 more deep breaths here. Maybe noticing how our shoulders are feeling, noticing how that movement feels with the breath. As you take your last exhale, we'll bring our knees to our chest, make our way down to our mats if we're not already there. We can take our knees out wide or into our chest, rocking side to side, maybe just noticing how our low back's feeling today. And then as we're ready, we'll release the right leg, pull the left knee in as we exhale. And then as we inhale, we'll switch legs. Inhale to switch, exhale to hold, sinking into that nice little hip release. Inhale to switch. Exhale to hold. Taking this again at your own pace. If it feels better, you can tap the floor instead of extending the leg all the way out. Maybe just noticing how the bent knee or the straight leg is feeling today. Taking 1 more round each side. And then as we're ready, we'll bend our knees. Yes, I know the mic is cutting in and out, but y'all can hear me. Bending your knees, placing your feet on the floor in front of you. Hands by the sides. We'll start to scoop our belly button to our spine, inhaling, lifting our hips up off the mat, moving into that bridge pose. Exhaling, slowly lowering the hips back down, starting to warm through our back body, our glutes, hamstrings, and low back. Pressing into our feet as we lift, maybe feeling a little opening in our hips, our quads. Making sure that if we feel any pain in our knees, we're stopping before we get to that point. Taking 2 more rounds here at your own pace. And then as you're ready, meeting me back on the mat, we can keep our feet in here, dropping our knees side to side for that windshield wipers, or we can walk the feet out wider as we bend the knees right and left. Just getting that little release in the hip, maybe noticing how the internal, external rotation feels in our hips, especially if we've been seated a lot today or this weekend. Maybe we were noticing a little tightness in the hips or the low back. And then as we're ready, we'll bring the knees back in, drop them over to one side as we press ourselves up. Moving into all fours, hands and knees. So let's bring our hands to the front of the mat and our feet to the back. Hands under shoulders, knees under hip. Remembering that we want a little space between, right, our hands and a little space between our knees because our hips are not directly together. From here, moving into our cat and cow as we inhale, starting with our low back, our hips, then moving up into our chest, our head. Exhale, chin to chest, round through the spine. Scooping the tailbone in, belly button to spine. Then reverse it, right? Inhaling to our cow, exhaling to our cat. We can add on any other organic movements that might feel good to this. My favorite is that tail wag side to side, maybe taking some hip circles, softening our fingers on the mat so that we're not pressing or creating tension in our wrists, or maybe rolling out our wrists if they already feel tight. Still thinking about the breath as a guide here. Inhale to your cow, exhale to your cat, whatever pace feels good for you. Taking 2 more rounds here at your own pace. And then we'll come back to our all fours, hands and knees. Getting a little bit of core activation this morning or this afternoon. Let's inhale the right arm out in front of us and extend our left leg behind us. Opposite arm, opposite leg. As we inhale, lengthen. Today, as we exhale, think about your cat. Pull the elbow to the knee, round through the spine. Inhale, lengthen. If you want to, you can also bend your right knee, moving into sunbird. So pushing that heel to the sky, inhale. Exhale, round from the side. It looks like this. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to round. Taking one more inhale and exhale. Squeezing maybe through that glute, and then coming back to your all fours, hands and knees. We'll go to the other side. Inhale, left arm, right leg. The leg can be straight, or again, the knee can be bent. A little more glute activation there. Exhale, round through the spine. Inhale to lengthen, squeeze. Exhale to round. You can come from that traditional bird dog, or you can bend your knee, pushing your heel to the sky. Still thinking about that core contraction as we pull the knee and the arm in together. Moving in opposition, really great for our muscular slings that connect our shoulders to our hips. One more round, and then we'll meet back in all fours, hands and knees. Taking our knees to the long edge of the mat, hips to heels, finding child's pose, whatever your favorite version of child's pose is today. I like to place a block under my head, especially if we are feeling those sinus pressure. This can be nice, keeping the head above the heart. Finding your breath here. I want you to think about your expanding breath. So as you inhale, can you spread the breath up and over your upper back? Breathing in through the rib cage and the belly, moving into that 3-part breath, but this time, instead of filling the front of our body, we're expanding the breath all the way to our upper back and shoulders. If you want to try out another breath practice in this pose, one of my favorites is called bee's breath. With each inhale, you're inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your nose. But as you exhale, you're making the sound of the letter M. So it's almost like a humming if you think about a bee. As you exhale, that helps us stimulate our vagus nerve, which runs through our entire body and helps us with our stress response cycle. So we can build that vagal tone, bringing us back to that parasympathetic state, rest and digest. If you have your block, you can also do this breath and rock your forehead side to side on the block. Sometimes that feels really nice too. From here, let's all stretch our arms out in front of us, shifting up into our plank position on our knees. And we're ready. Knees come underneath our hips. And I want you to think about inhaling, coming forward to your plank, exhaling, shifting back to your child's pose. Now we're going to change this up a little bit. If you want to practice what we call breath retention, you can inhale, come forward to your plank, find a little breath hold, and then exhale, shift back. If you don't feel comfortable with holding your breath, feel free to not, but maybe just try it for today. Lots of benefits to that practice. Maybe just holding it for count of 2 or 3, starting to feel the core engage. Taking one more round here. And then we'll shift forward, meeting in our child's pose, or excuse me, in our plank. Exhaling, if we want to, we can come down into our chaturanga, chest to mat. Inhale, we press back up to plank. Exhale, child's pose. So the elbows are enclosed by the rib cage. If you want to add on to this, inhale, coming forward, exhaling all the way down onto the bellies. Imagine mine is down. Inhale, lift the chest, roll the shoulders back, the hands lift. So we're not pushing our hands into the mat. Our hands are coming up like this. It's like a back extension. Continue, hover your hands over the floor. You got it. Then press into the hands, push back, child's pose. Beautiful. Putting that all together, inhaling, coming forward. Exhaling, chaturanga if you want it. Inhale, you can lift to cobra, roll the shoulders back, lift the hands first. Then press into the palms, press yourself up, lift the chest, full cobra. Exhale, child's pose. So in our cobra, I know that you cannot see me do it, but that's because I got a baby in my belly. In our full cobra, we want to think about rolling those shoulders back and keeping our feet down. Moving through that half series one more time at your own pace. Again, feeling free to explore any different variations in cobra. Maybe you want to float the hands and stay in baby cobra. Maybe you want to push into the hands full cobra or up dog. And then meeting me back in child's pose. If you want to explore downward facing dog, lifting your hips up to the sky in that down dog today, maybe bending knees right and left. And then looking to the top of your mat, we'll walk our feet there, making our way to the top of our mat in our forward fold. Excellent. Inhale, reverse swan dive, arms lift up to the sky. Maybe taking a little baby back bend, we can turn our hands to the back of the room, take our gaze back a little bit, making sure we're not dropping that head back because we don't want to put pressure on our cervical spine. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, chair pose, arms sweep out in front of us. Or they can stay at heart center, either option. Inhale, one more time, lift the chest. Exhale, sink back into your chair. Moving into our full sun salutations. Inhale, let's lift through the heart. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Stepping back to find your plank, knees or toes. And then moving through your options in your half series. So again, chaturanga option, cobra option, or maybe just plank. Exhaling, we find child's pose or down dog. Stepping, lunging, walking to the top of our mat, forward fold, exhale. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair. Inhale, we lift through the heart, tall, lengthen the spine. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Stepping back to find your plank. Inhaling, shifting forward, knees or toes. Exhale, optional chaturanga, optional cobra as we inhale, or up dog. Exhale, down dog or child's pose. Stepping, lunging, walking to the top of the mat as we inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair. Excellent. Moving through this 2 more times at your own pace. Feeling free to add on any options. I know we do a half lift a lot, but you don't have to, or you can, either option. Letting your breath be your guide here, creating that heat in the body. Remembering to take any variations. We're just going to do it 2 more times, and then we'll meet in child's pose or down dog, either option. Making our way down to our mats for our child's pose or down dog, getting ready to move into our standing strength poses. From here, we will look to the top of our mat, step our left foot forward to meet our hands, finding that low lunge position. We can use blocks if we'd like. It's up to you. I'm using them because I can't quite get down to the floor as well as I used to. From here, we're going to lift our right knee, step the right foot forward, finding a warrior one stance. Coming up so that our left knee is bent and our right leg is long. Excellent. Shoulders back and down. From here, adding on a little change to our warrior one today. Take your left hand, reach it up to the sky, and then reach back behind you, almost like you're going to pat yourself on the back. And then your right hand is going to reach under. This is called cow face pose in our arms. You can grab your hands if that feels good for you, or just if you're like me and you can't, then just keep them where they are. Feeling that opening in the chest. Can we bend our left knee a little bit? Roll the shoulders back to lift the heart a little bit. And now from here, I want you to find your breath, that 3-part breath in your belly, moving it up into your chest, your ribs, especially that left armpit. Maybe feeling the breath move from the right hip all the way up to that left arm. Taking one more breath here in our warrior one. Releasing just the left arm. Left arm's going to come back behind us. We can grab our forearms or we can grab our hands. I like to do forearms. Rolling the shoulders back, feeling that chest expansion here. Can we lift our heart to the sky, take our gaze a little bit higher? Roll the shoulders back. We spend a lot of time like this, right? So we're going to focus on opening through our chest. Taking one more big inhale. As we exhale, hinging from our hips, coming down into pyramid pose, keeping our hands where they are. Or once again, you can clasp the hands together, keeping a soft knee bend in the left leg. And at any time, if you need that support on your thigh, you can place your hands, or you can find your block and release your chest expansion. It's whatever feels good for you. So left knee is soft, right leg is long. We are in a pyramid pose, which is different from humble warrior. So here's the difference. Humble warrior would look like this. Pyramid pose, we shift the hips back, lengthen that left leg, and then come forward. So you might be here, right, in your pyramid, or if you're like me, with your block, either option. So the left leg isn't straight, but it's not locked. The key is we're pushing our hips back to feel a little stretch in our hamstring on our left side. And then from here, shifting all of our weight into our left foot, gripping the floor with that left foot, finding that nice neutral position in the foot. And then we're lifting the right foot, coming into standing splits. So hands can come to the shin, the floor, the blocks. You're welcome to come back to pyramid pose at any time. You can stay in standing split, or if you want to open to half moon Ardha Chandrasana, you can rotate your right hip first. So if you can, I want you to think right toes to the right mirror of the room. Lift the right hip so that it's stacked over the left. Then you release the right hand off the floor and reach it up to the sky. You can keep your gaze down to the floor or out to the side. Shoulders are stacked. So this right arm up to the sky needs to be stacked over the left. Our whole body is rotated, except for that left hip, to the right side of the room. Remember, we can always come back to standing split or pyramid. One more big inhale. Exhale, come back to standing split. Look to the back of your mat. Plant your right foot, bend your left knee, warrior two, opening this long side of our mat. So the left knee's bent, the right leg is long. Arms are out, shoulders relaxed. And think about this. We want our arms to be in line with each other. The right hand's invisible in the front mirror, so we're looking down that left hand. If we feel tension in the shoulders, we can always move the arms a little forward. From here, flip the left palm. Keep the legs where they are, reach back behind you, reverse warrior. Option to wrap the right arm around the low back or place it on the thigh. Finding the breath in the left side of the body here, in the heart. Taking one more big inhale. Exhale, releasing, cartwheeling the hands down to the mat, left, right. We find that low lunge, knee in line with toes. Stepping back to find down dog or child's pose. Resetting our hips here, finding our breath once again. Maybe noticing the heart rate up a little bit. We're going to move through that sequence on the other side. So we'll take our gaze to the top of the mat, step our right foot to right hand for our low lunge with our knee down here. Remember that this knee, we want it in line with the toes. We always want to keep our knees in line with toes. That helps us protect our knees. We tuck the left toes, step into our warrior one stance. So the feet can be a little closer or further away. It's whatever feels good. Bend through the right knee, come up, hands to heart center. From here, can we push and ground down into our left heel? So you'll feel the quad activate, but the hip open on that left side. But the knee we want to push that knee back. It's soft, but it's not locked, like hyperextended. So that when you bend the right knee and sink into it, you can feel a deeper stretch in your hip flexor. Now this time, right arm reaches up behind us. Left arm reaches under and back. Now this side I can do. If you're like me and you can do one side, that's okay, that's normal. Opening through the chest, rolling the shoulders back, finding our breath here, breathing from that left hip all the way up into the right shoulder, from the belly up to the chest, the 3-part breath, just like we practiced at the beginning. Taking 2 more rounds of breath. Getting some nice shoulder mobility in our standing work today. We'll release the right arm, taking it back behind us, rolling our shoulders back for that chest expansion. So find a squeeze in your shoulder blades. Take your heart up to the ceiling and your gaze maybe to the bricks or the bricks where they meet the ceiling. Again, look at me. The head is not like this because this puts pressure on that cervical spine. We want to keep the length in the head while not dropping it back behind us. Elongating through the throat. We call this Jalanadala Bandha, our throat lock. The muscles are activated in our throat. Inhaling here as we exhale, hinging at the hips, pushing the hips back. So I sometimes step my feet a little closer together, finding pyramid pose. So again, hips press back, hands can always release at this point, or you can hang out in that chest expansion. Sometimes when we hinge at our hips, we find a little deeper chest expansion. Remembering that the knee is soft, but it's not super bent forward. So can you push the hips back to lengthen the right leg? A soft knee, a difference in a bent and a soft knee, if you're ever wondering. This would be a bent knee. This would be a soft knee. This would be a locked knee, which we don't want. So nice soft knee, but not super, super bent forward. Pressing that weight back so that we feel the elongation of the muscle in our hamstring right here. Taking one more big inhale. As we exhale, pressing our hands into the floor, the shin, the block, lift the left leg, standing splits. Maybe rolling out the ankle. Option to stay here or come back to pyramid or find your half moon. First step in half moon is lift the left leg, rotate the hip. So rotate the hip, external rotation. Left toes point to the left side of the room. The foot is flexed. Then the chest rotates, the arm can lift so that the whole body, except for our right foot, right hip, is opening to the left side of the room. Big balance pose here. You got to activate through the glutes, squeeze and brace through your core. And also find your breath. Breathe into it here. Find a steady state of breath. One more big inhale. Exhale, meeting back in standing split or pyramid. Look to the back of your mat, planting your left foot, bending your right knee, coming up to find warrior two. Right foot forward, left foot is at an angle. Relax the shoulders. Gazing over our right hand in front of us, this right knee is bent. So we can feel some heat in the front leg, some strength, and some opening in the hips to the long side of the mat. From here, we flip the right palm to the sky, keep the legs where they are, just reverse the arms, gaze towards the right hand or ceiling maybe, or we can take the gaze down to the left foot, out to the side, or we can wrap the left arm around the low back. Find the breath in the right side of the body. Take one more big inhale. Exhale, cartwheeling the hands down to the mat, right and then left. Stepping back to find your down dog or child's pose. Option if you'd like to move through a vinyasa flow, a half series. Last chance here, and this is going to be our last time in downward facing dog. Option to move into child's pose once you're ready. Maybe resetting the heart rate, noticing the breath. From our child's pose today here, we're going to reach our arms out in front of us. Walk the hands to the right side of the mat. Reaching a little further with the left arm. We can also shift our body a little bit to the left side to deepen this stretch for the upper back and shoulders. You can take your gaze even and look under your right armpit. Maybe feeling that stretch in a little bit different position. Walking the hands back to center, and we'll take them to the left side, same thing. This time reaching further with the left arm. Option to sink deeper here, maybe shift the body a little right or a little left, excuse me, and then looking underneath our right arm. When you're ready, slowly walking back to center. Walking your hands up to your thighs, lifting your chest, your gaze. We're shifting our body around, bringing our feet long to the front of the mat. So legs out in front of us. Sometimes if it feels good for you in this seated position, you can also fold your mat, or if you have a bolster, pillow, block, something like that. I like to prop my hips up. I think sitting on a block is too much for what we're going to do, but a little cushion, extra cushion there can be kind of nice. So if you want to, folding your mat. All right. Now take the feet out in front of you in line with your shoulders, flexing through your feet. So this is flex, this is point, right? So pressing our heels into the floor. Inhale, lift your arms to the sky. Exhale, twisting over the right shoulder. Now, I want you to hold this twist but then look towards your feet. Can you see one of your feet? Did the right one shift forward? Next time, if it did, I want you to try to keep the feet in line with each other instead of shifting our hips. So if I were to shift my hips, that right foot's going to come forward. Our twist is from our core and our shoulders, not our lower back, okay? Come back to center, big inhale. Exhale, twist. Gentle twist here, again, looking at your feet. We don't want that left foot to slide forward so the hips aren't shifting. We're keeping the sit bones in the mat. One more time on each side. Big inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist to the right. Maybe sinking a little deeper here into that twist, just maintaining the neutral hip position. No rotation in our hips, just the upper body, the thoracic spine, the upper cervical spine. Our gaze can even look further over our shoulder if we want to. One more time to the left, big inhale. Exhale, twist. Last big inhale, come back to center. Exhale, we can find a seated forward fold, hinging from our hips. If you're like me, and you need some more space, you can take your feet out a little wider, whatever works for you. Softening the knees as much as it feels good for you too. And then one more big inhale, lift through the chest, bring the feet back in line with each other. And then we're gonna bend our knees. So placing our feet on the floor, yes. Inhale, lift your arms to the sky. Exhale, take your hands behind you, placing them on the floor. Palms, fingers face your body. Your hands are gonna do this on the floor. Fingers are facing your hips, under your shoulders. We press into our feet and our hands, lift our hips up to the sky. Again, think about that Jalandhara Bandha. We're not letting our head fall back into our shoulders. The gaze can be lifted, but the neck stays nice and strong and open. Feeling that in our upper back shoulders and our glutes and our hip flexors. Exhale, slowly release it, come back down to the mat. Extend your legs, sit up nice and tall, and then roll out your wrists. Excellent. From here, we're bending our right knee. We can release our mat or anything that we have underneath our hips, rolling ourselves down to our mat, using that leg as a break. Bringing both knees into the chest, grabbing under the hamstring, and little rock side to side. When you're ready, placing your feet on the floor in front of you. We are going to place the right foot down on the mat in front of our hips, lift our left knee to our chest, flexing our left foot, crossing it over that right thigh. Y'all know I love hip openers, and we didn't really do too much today. So we're going to get a little bit in our last pose today, our supine figure four stretch. So we can stay right here, or we can pull that knee into the chest, the right knee. We can also do my favorite, my personal favorite, and just let the knee fall side to side. The focus here, even more than the hip, is on our glute too, specifically the left side glute, left side piriformis. Coming back to center when you're ready, we'll release the left leg off, placing it on the floor, pulling our right knee into our chest this time, flexing our right foot, crossing it over the thigh below the knee, keeping the foot flexed on that right foot. It's going to protect our knee once again. And then taking any of your options in your supine twists, the left knee can come to the chest. You can rock side to side. You can let the knees fall all the way over to one side, even getting a little more twist. When you're ready, we'll come back to center, release the right foot. We can take the knees to the chest, rock it out, or we can take that little windshield wiper action in the legs one more time. Taking any last and final poses that you might want today before our final relaxation. Maybe that's happy baby. Maybe that's legs up the wall. We don't need a wall, but if you do have a wall, you can take your legs up the wall, or a chair. Whatever it is you need, taking these last 30 seconds to a minute. And then you can also just meet in your favorite rest pose on the mat for final relaxation. Coming to that comfortable rest pose, either on your back for Shavasana, you can lay on your side. One of my favorite positions, laying on the side. You can lay on your belly, or you can even come up to a seated position, wherever it feels the most comfortable for you to find your breath, bring your focus back to your breath. Letting go of any last little bit of tension, maybe with each exhale. Breathing in and out of the nose once again, if that still feels accommodating for you. Maybe finding that 3-part diaphragmatic breath. Maybe for this final relaxation, we think about inhaling through our left nostril, exhaling through our right nostril. You don't even have to cover one side of your nose. You can just think about it, focusing more on inhaling through that left side, exhaling through that right side. As we inhale, maybe imagining the color orange or red. And as we exhale, maybe imagining the color blue. Still focusing on taking those nice deep breaths. Maybe focusing on a certain word or feeling that we're wanting to invite into our bodies and space today. Thinking about breathing that in with every inhale. As we exhale, letting go of any self-doubt, any stress, frustrations, any negativity. As we inhale, maybe inhaling a word that you're wanting or needing today. And if there isn't something, maybe inhaling peace, happiness, grace, love. Starting to wiggle your fingers and toes when you're ready, just bringing that awareness back into your space, in your body. When you're ready, you're welcome to bring your knees into your chest, rolling over onto your favorite side. Just getting that blood pressure and heart rate adjusted. And then you can, when you're ready, slowly bring yourself back up to a seated position, whatever seated position feels best for you. Sitting up nice and tall, we'll take one last collective breath together as we inhale, arms sweep up to the sky. Exhale, gathering our breath into our heart center, our Anjali Mudra. The light in me honors, sees, and observes the light in each and every one of you. So thank you so much for being here today. Y'all have an awesome rest of your week.